Is
So it's
everyone okay with recording the meeting?
all right. Um, so thank you everyone for RSVPing and showing interest in our mural and area activation project. This is a overview of project, a virtual site walk, and we're open to any Q questions that you may have regarding the project, the call for artists, or the process. And with that, and oh, sorry, my name is Jay Abdallah, and I'm the Senior Economic Development Coordinator for the town of Lexington. And I'm also joined here with my boss, Sandhya Iyer, who is the Economic Development Director. So starting off, a little background about this project. This project is one of three parts that the town of Lexington is pushing and promoting through the Rapid Recovery Plan, which was created in 2021 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was found that East Lexington, the East Lexington Business District suffered a disproportionate amount of um, due to COVID-19, and we are working as part of this project to connect the bike path with the businesses that align on the Minuteman Bikeway to attract more foot traffic and visitors. And part of this is the mural and area activation work, and also adding directional signage, wayfinding kiosks, and doing a landscaping and invasive species removal project. As you see in the bottom right photo, that is the intended end result of what we're aiming for with the landscaping and invasive species removal project. As you'll see in a minute, you'll see some photos of what it currently looks like. Next, focusing on the locations of each place. And with these pictures, I also have a video showing the site. Um, But to start off, the first location is at 55 Massachusetts Avenue. This location is unique in the fact that the mural will be planned to be affixed or drawn onto the trailer, as you see in the left photo. As you see in the right photo, it is currently covered in lots of invasive species, which will mean that this mural will most likely happen once the invasive species are removed, which will be later this year. The trailer itself is 6.5 by 37 feet. And Sonia, if you may, I'm going to be sharing my screen to show the virtual site. Is everyone able to see the screen?
Yes.
So play back a little slower. So as you can see here, and this is a recurring theme with a lot of the space, is that it is overgrown with invasive species, including knotwood and other invasive species that we are working on to remove. Right now, most people will walk by the area and be unable to see really anything resembling a storefront. And this project will work to cut down the invasive species. And then once we affix a mural, as well as add site amenities through area activation, which includes bike racks, picnic tables, it'll open up the space to show that stuff is here and that it is inviting, and it will hopefully attract more pedestrians. It is estimated that about 3,000 users use the bike path each day, which opens a significant market portion of those who are also interested in eating and shopping and just sitting down and relaxing. And this project will work towards reconciling the stores with the bike path. And as you can see here, that is the trailer. And once all those invasive species are removed, it'll open up Berman's, which is a wines and spirits store, to the bike path. All right, Sonia, you can share your screen again. So as you can see, we're going down the bike path. This is all within the same area of each other. Location 2 is 131 Massachusetts Ave, which is at the location of Busa Wine and Spirits. You can see it's the exterior view to the left. The mural space is approximately 27.5 by about 34.5 feet. And once again, the right picture will show the difficulties the store has with communicating its presence to the bike path. Sonia, I'm going to share my screen. So as you see here, oh wait, sorry, wrong video. Can you see the video? So
Yeah.
that is the building with exterior and exterior lot. As you can see, lots of dumpsters, lots of open space, lots of invasive species. And similar to the other projects, applying a mural to the exterior wall facing the Minuteman bike path will open it up. Here, Sonia, you can share your screen again. So location 3. This is on the entire facade, 135 to 145 Massachusetts Ave, connecting multiple businesses together. As you can see on the far right of the left photo, there's already a mural that is there. This was painted by the store Battle Road Bikes, I believe last year, and that mural will remain on the wall during this project and will not be removed. The remaining space for any mural work is approximately 25 feet by 65 feet. And as a similar story, it has the trouble of being covered by the invasive species brush. And this is the video to accompany it. The recurring theme is that there's a lot of dumpster usage with the space, which affects how it is perceived by the by bikeway users, and hopefully as part of this project, we'll be able to find a better utilization for the better utilization space for the dumpsters, as well as with the other amenities. Because right now, as you see, it's really just all open, very open space, used as just as parking, and we believe that it can do so much more. Sonia. And finally, our last space is 165 to 201 Massachusetts Ave. This is a large space. As you can see, it is approximately 25 feet tall by roughly about 435 feet long, with a mural, as you can see on the bottom left, that was put up by the Music Emporium last year. This mural, similar to the one put up by Battle Road Bikes, will remain as part of the project. And once again, if I'm going to share my screen for the final time, to show the site, slow it down a little. So you can see this building has roughly five businesses. spread out across the building, and which includes Wicked Bagel, Music Emporium, Nick's Place, and several other small businesses. And a recurring theme in East Lexington is that the space is very industrial, primarily comes off as very industrial, and that the space is seeking for another purpose, which we would hope to add with the mural, put in color, and bring some more foot traffic to this area. And while we're going through this video, just thinking of how we can also push the space usage with all the properties, how we can bring community together, how we can have kids come and park their bikes, have people come rest, and just how we can make this space, and that's the overarching question, how can we make this space work for everybody?
So, hi, this is Sandhya. Just to jump in, as the video is playing. So a few years back, actually, a couple of years back, we had a brewery that wanted to use the space and, just have like outdoor seating in the back and, just have that kind of a connection between the bike path, which is so close to the space. And, but the issue is the shrubbery, there's so much. So, and plus, like, it was a project that was calling all of us saying that okay, we have to get this done. So in fact, today was our inaugural ceremony for the first phase of the project. We just completed the wayfinding signage. So we just installed all the wayfinding signage kiosk. So that's complete. So the second phase, currently we are in front of the Conservation Commission with our design work for landscaping is done. So that should be on its way to bid as well. So we're going to have a landscaper take care of all the invasive species. In fact, you can see some of those blue bars over there. Those are the new signage over there. So once all that is done, we definitely see these industrial looking buildings, and we wanted to make it more inviting, more like, people don't associate, like I was mentioning, I think Jay was mentioning Wicked Bagel, and that's one of very famous bagel shops. In fact, we get customers all the way from New Hampshire and Vermont to come and get bagel from there. So some of these stores have been there for a long time, and people have been like really appreciative of the stores, but the locals know about it, and the people who know about it know about it. But there's a lot of history to Lexington. We are coming up with our 250th anniversary of Battle of Lexington. If you know, that began the whole what do you call American Revolution War. So we are coming up with that. So we definitely want to make this space more look like, one of the things we always hear is there's no demarcation when you go from Arlington to Lexington. There is no demarcation of you entered into Lexington. So this is the first place that you would end up from Arlington into Lexington on the bike path. So we definitely want to give that distinct look to Lexington as you enter into it. And give that historic, the sites that are existing, just respecting and giving the same value that this place had when the railroad existed, and when Paul Revere rode this whole whole place. So I'm going to stop there and let Jay continue with the presentation.
Of course. So I think this is a good point to start with any questions regarding the locations or anything we've just talked about. The second half of this presentation is more technical, just about the selection process, and moving forward from there. So does anybody have any questions to start off, just about the more technical locations? Alexander.
Yeah, hi there. Thanks for putting this together. Looking forward to putting together an application. One of the questions that I had, or I guess I have a handful, but one of them is what have the business owners said? There's a lot of different uses, or current occupants in the space. And I guess I'm wondering, you know, I imagine that Wicked Bagels will want something different than the Music Emporium, that will want something different than the liquor. Have they communicated to you what they are interested in? And then, you know, is that something that I assume that it's something that we should be thinking about as well.
Yeah, no, great question to start off. Actually, we've had conversations with both property owners as well as business owners. Um, we would like to see a cohesive design because it's commissioned by the town of Lexington, a cohesive design that more emulates Lexington's history and Lexington as a whole and business district as a whole. One thing we run into issue is that if we do it business by business, which again, this is what happened with his historic knowledge, that Battle Road Bikes added their logo or just said Battle Road Bikes. As soon as you add any words or anything which suggests, like if it's a coffee shop and if you add something which says cafe or something, it goes into signage instead of being a mural. So we want to stay away from any sort of design work which has words or anything which speaks about the business itself. The other issue that generally happens if you go by business to business is that once the business leaves, and that happens a lot, right? Once the business leaves, the mural stays. If it's a different use than what is existing, you're stuck with that design for a while. So we definitely want to keep that in mind and make it more inviting as a holistic design. And that's where the creativity comes, which I don't have that much. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys to get that. But that's where I'm seeing it, that we don't want to go with the current businesses and just with the business model, but rather more of a design which lasts a little bit longer than the business in itself.
Sure. Well, then a follow-up to that, if that's possible, if that's okay. Then, what do you? Oh, well, I'm only asking this because obviously there's the mural component, but there's also, the additional comments around activation of the space, potential seating, bike bike racks, etc. You is there a sense of like what you would want us to be responsible for, and then also what the property owners at the very least have said that they are open to, again, because currently, right, the space is being used for parking and for as a dumpster space, and we're talking about activation. I don't know. Maybe it's not so relevant for this initial RFQ, but it's something, as we're engaging on our end, as we're gauging our interest in this project, it helps to understand.
Mhm. No, another good question, because this we have been thinking about this for a while now, that how does activation play into it? Like definitely adding bike racks or picnic benches is okay, but then beyond that, some of the places have come, some of the property owners have been open to maybe putting like a green wall or something like that to make that space more active if it's closer to a restaurant, or some place where people could get a sandwich and come there and sit and eat. We are doing the same thing on the bike path itself. With the landscaping, we are going to add places where people could rest stops, right, with benches and bike racks, so people have different nodes and different points where they could stand and just have a space to sit and do stuff. So it's almost a conversation that we are having with the property owner. It's almost like redesigning their back of. Right now, they have not thought about their back at all. I've been pushing the property owners to think about maybe enclosing and that's again a design part of it, right? Enclosing the dumpsters and putting planters on the enclosement, or doing some artwork there. So things like that have been proposed as part of this whole project, and this is why it's like almost a project which the town has initiated, but we definitely are going to work very closely with the property owner to get the design completed.
Thank you.
I see there are comments in the chat from Adriana. I hope I got that right. Adriana said the successful artist slash team would have to work on all the locations, or will it be different artists and teams chosen for each of the spaces that need to be activated?
Mm.
We are intending for, oh, Sonia, you can go on.
Yeah, so having said that, this entire project is East Lexington one project, but then the funding that we have received is for two different locations, the center of Lexington as well as for East Lexington. So we have two different, that's another call for artists that we'll be doing in the future, but that is a very different beast than East Lexington. I feel East Lexington has a canvas for you, whereas the center has too much variation and too many committees involved with that one. So it's a very different look and feel for the center versus the East Lexington. So we are hoping, and I just stole that word from Jay's mouth there. We are hoping to have one artist because so that we can get a cohesive look for it. But again, this is something that we really want to see how the call for artists, if we would prefer to have one artist do the whole thing. If they have like teams, if they are proposing like joining forces and doing it, we would be open to it, but coordinating with one would be easier for us.
And then from Liliana, I have experience building native gardens. Can I submit a landscape design and mural as part of the project? Yeah, that's in the second round, which I'll get to, which after this, that's after yes, the second round, the selection process, if you are selected as a semifinalist, then absolutely. I think that is something we'd love for you to
Yes,
add.
so the landscaping you mean for the invasive species part of it. So we are going through the Conservation Commission. We have done with the design part of it, and we'll be going for a bid process on it. So once the bid is out, it's a separate bid. It's a bigger project, so it's a separate bid. So you can actually this call for artist is only for the mural and some of the activation, not for the landscaping. So that part comes later on. So we'll be opening that bid pretty soon. And I think you've been like trying to, oh, sorry. Lauren, go ahead. But we can't hear you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That would be why. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. In the RFP, it mentions an investment of approximately $100,000 in public art at 2 locations and multiple sites across the length of the bike trail. So the 2 locations, is that what you're referring to in terms of East Lexington versus Center?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
the
then,
funding is not divided into half. Let's put
okay.
it that way. So we really want to see, this was the first priority for us, East Lexington. It depends on, what are we getting as far as the proposals go. And so, but I just wanted to let you know it is 100,000, but then it's divided into a lot of locations. I think East Lexington has a lot of more potential of getting things done. Center is a bit more of a beast, as I mentioned, and plus that we're entering into our 250th anniversary next year, so that's a bit of different.
Okay. And then my other question, you started to talk about activations before. Is the team that you would select, they would be involved in, or they could propose both the murals and concepts for activations around these locations? Okay.
That's correct. That's correct. And even if the concept for, I mean, if you're able to complete the murals, but if we could get a budget and activation things that is proposed with the project, that would be great. I mean, it depends on the budget sheet in itself if we are able to cover it or not, but at least we want to see some designs.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I think we can move forward with the second part of the presentation. Sonia, you can share your screen. All right, so we talked about the locations, and now the more technical selection process. So our selection team is made out of different individuals from all over Lexington who have different outlooks and part of their different fields, from the business industries, artist industries, connections to East Lexington, and then Sonia and myself. This team will, as you saw in the call for artists in Appendix E, we have a list of criteria that we're looking for with the submissions, which the selection team will sit down, review, and as a result of that, Sonia, do you mind moving to the next slide?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing on this one. The selection process mentions Historic District Commission representative, but this is not within the historic district. This location is not within the historic district. So we definitely are not going to the historic HDC for any thing, but we just wanted HDC to be part of this process because the center is part of the historic district.
So this is just a brief overview of the selection process. All artists who are interested in submitting their qualifications must do so on our application form, which can be found on both the Call for Artist webpage as well as the Call for Artist PDF by 12 p.m. on Friday, October 4th. The submissions should include, and this is all laid out in the form, contact information, your CV, 3 samples of similar projects so that we understand, that we can see what other experience you have with public art, design, and fabrication, and then just a brief 1-paragraph artist statement outlining basic points of why you're interested in this project, what is your guiding philosophy with public art, and then since we're in Lexington, community engagement is key. How do you approach community engagement with your artwork? And all this, like I mentioned, is due on October 4th by 12 p.m. Sonia, next, please. And so the first part was just phase 1. Phase 2, what will happen once the qualifications are submitted? The selection panel will review the qualifications and select 3 finalists based upon the established criteria that can be found in Appendix E. Essentially, whoever gets the most points out of our grading system will move on to the next round. The 3 finalists will each receive a $1,000 stipend as part of a grant agreement. And this $1,000 stipend will be for conceptual drawings, budget development, and anything else that goes with it. The 3 finalists will be invited to a preliminary meeting with us, property owners, and other stakeholders to discuss call for artists, talk about more technical aspects, concept development, have opportunity. This will be the opportunity for artists and their teams to interact with the property owners and business owners to solicit input, see what they're interested in seeing for both the mural and area activation process. After 3 weeks from the initial selection, finalists will be required to submit concept designs, proposed timelines, technical requirements for installation, their installation and maintenance plan, and an itemized budget. And through all this, the selection panel will select one artist and team as the awardee, who will then enter into the grant agreement with the town of Lexington to conduct the project in exchange for the grant stipend through the American Rescue Plan Act. Sonia, next slide, please. And so as I alluded to, we have a few dates coming up, including, as you saw, the artists was released last week. Today is our site walk. Qualifications are then due on the 4th. And then after that, there's a bit of a pattern. Each week, we will move forward with the next objective. The selection panel will review finalists. Finalists will sign their grant agreement to receive the stipend. And then 3 weeks after that, 3 weeks after the contract agreement will also involve the virtual meeting as well as the submittal date. And then after that, Once the project is awarded, which we expect to be around the week of November 15th, this timeline becomes a little more flexible. Well, as I mentioned, artists will submit their own timeline. This project does not have to be completed per opera guidelines until December 2026, meaning we have a much longer timeline for East Lexington and for the artists to really make sure that they can do the best work they can and not be under a condensed timeline. So this is a sample timeline of just what we think would work. But of course, we want to talk with the artists and have that collaboration to make sure everyone's on the same page with the ability to do the murals and activation projects. And then that is it. And we're happy to take any more questions you may have about this project. As you can see here, feel free to contact us at economicdevelopment@lexingtonma.gov. And then the second link will direct you to the call for artists. And then the bottom page is our main Lexington Lexington tourism website. And we're happy to take any more questions you may have.
So the economic development team here actually also runs the tourism for the town. So we get around, and actually we're sitting right now at the visitor center of the town. We get around 120,000 visitors each year. For looking at the history, we run a trolley tour. We also run Battle Green walking tours, and we work very closely with the Historical Society. Yeah, so we can put Lillian is asking for a link to the application in the chat. Yes,
Yes.
we can put that in there. So, are there any other questions in the chat?
So I just added both the link to our webpage with the murals and all the different forms on it, and then the direct link to our submission form.
Here's a question here.
Have you done similar calls in the past? Sonia, I'll leave that to Sonia.
So we haven't done murals as such, but we've been like from a town perspective, we have done call for artists we just installed a new women monument right across my office actually. It was commissioned to one of the international artist Meredith Bergman, and she did this beautiful arch, and you can look for it. It's called Lex See Her. It's basically it talks about 26 women and incorporates their stories within the entire artwork itself. We also have done a lot of activation pieces in Lexington itself. Mural is new to Lexington. Some of the businesses have done it. One of the business here in Center, which is a cafe called Revival Cafe, they just added a mural in the back as well. So the town is opening up to mural designs and things like that. So we really wanted to take advantage of it right now and get it done, because people are like excited about murals, and they want to see more art across. And I think the awareness of it has increased a little bit more as an art form here in Lexington. So people are excited to see activated business sites rather than just having plain blank slates of walls. What is the medium for the murals? For the existing murals, you mean? Yeah, existing murals. We did not directly work with it because it was more commissioned by the business owners. But we could find out for you if you want, and if you can, I don't know, Jay, do you have Lillian's email address? We can send it to her.
I do. I can also post it on I'll post it on the webpage. just so everyone can know as well.
Yeah, because we are talking about three different murals, so I'm not sure how the three. There was one mural that was commissioned by one of the other artists, but that was like almost they actually used almost like a jigsaw puzzle, creating it in their workshop and bringing it and assemble it. That was a very interesting concept as well. Unfortunately, that's we couldn't go ahead with it because the building owner decided to, and this is where it was, right? It was so business specific. The business left and the mural left with the business. So I was hoping the business would leave the mural behind, but it was commissioned by the business. So that always happens, which is why we are like, we're trying not to be business oriented, but rather than building and property owner oriented this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions that I can be of help? I mean, we are looking for creative solutions here. Yeah, that's why we wanted to show you good, bad, and the ugly part of East Lexington. So we can reimagine this with you all and see what it could be in the future. Definitely, Lexington is known for art and culture, and we received our cultural district back in 2023, and which comes as a surprise to a lot of people. But we've been like really working on a lot of different areas in the town to increase cultural activities and art. Oh, call for artists. One more thing. We just commissioned 4 horses as part of the Lex 250 and the 250th commission. So the horses are going to be unveiled, and this is basically it's almost, it signifies John Parker, sorry, what do you call, the horses riding towards the battle green, so coming from Boston towards Concord. So the horses are facing this side, and the unveiling of the horses is going to happen this Saturday at the Parker's Prelude. So we have done a lot of artwork like that, and some installations like those. Great.
All right. If that is it, thank you so much again for taking the time to meet with us and to listen to our project. And we are excited to hopefully see your submissions. If you have any other questions that may come up between now and then, feel free to reach out to us and we will be happy to chat to answer them. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.